Hi, welcome to Room to Grieve podcast. We're your hosts, Karen and Bec. Grab yourself a cuppa, find a comfortable spot, and we'll journey through grief together.
Morning.
Good morning. What the hell have you got me up this early for?
I know. Get me. I'm up and about early this morning. I have decided that part of the reason why I don't like walking is A, because it's a bit intrusive in my day. I don't really have the time for it. I don't really like leaving the house, so that puts me off. And I don't like the fact that if you walk somewhere, I know this sounds ridiculous, you've got to walk back. And I don't like the fact that I can't just, when I've had enough or when my brain's just bored of it, that I can't just stop. So I brought myself a walk pad. And I had a little go yesterday, and I did 5,000 steps yesterday. And I got up this morning, and I've done half an hour's walking. I've done 3,000 steps this morning. And it's so much easier knowing that I'm in the house. I can still do stuff like on my computer, or I was listening to an audiobook. I can still do that. And when I want to stop, I can stop and I'm home instantly. Because I think that's a lot of my panic when I'm out, is that I can't just get home instantly.
You've even got to control your walk.
Yeah.
Haven't you?
Yeah. But I got 3,000 steps in already today, and it's only 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Doesn't matter which way you do it. The better if you went outside and got a bit of fresh air, but we'll let you up.
The back door's open, so the air's coming in.
Oh, right, okay.
That counts, surely. I can see the sunshine.
Right, that's enough then, yeah. But, you know what you've just said about that panic of getting home? I've had that all my life.
Really?
Yeah, all my life I've had that. Even driving home from work. Particularly when I went back to work after having Niall, and I'd be setting off to come back to work. It was to come back home. It was like a 10-minute drive, and I'd have this panic in the whole 10 minutes that I just got to be home. I want to be home. I used to think, if I could just have a TARDIS and I could just get from A to B without this journey, and it was, I was always panicking like that. And
do you think that was like a protective thing when you had Niall? Because mine's only been since Bradley died.
Mine has changed since Emily's died.
Okay,
interesting.
And
I've there's things that have changed, and that is one of them. That is weird, that, isn't it? That you've got it, mate. Perhaps I'd give it to you. I've passed the baton.
Well, you can keep that one. That was a bit selfish of you. Yeah, I'm not the same in the car. I'm okay in the car because I know that I can just drive home. I can get home quicker, as opposed to walking.
Yeah. No,
I don't know.
That anxiety is one of the things I'm glad I've lost, because it's not pleasant.
No.
That panic in you. I mean, I used to panic when the kids went on school trips.
Yeah.
I would panic. I would pace all day, wait until they come back. I was probably the first mum back at the gate, waiting for the bus to come back, because in my head, as they set off, that bus driver was going to have a massive heart attack. The bus would turn over on its side. All the children would be crushed, and there'd be this great big massive pile up. That to me was a kid's school day out.
Wow. I mean, that did happen to one of our kids' school buses.
Well,
that genuinely did happen, and all the kids had to be rescued out the side of the bus. And I still don't have that anxiety over that, but
yeah, it's just these weird anxieties that we have through life. It's even without grief, it's awful.
Well, I hadn't actually realised that it was an anxiety, because it's not like a building, like a panic anxiety. It's just, I was just thinking I was just a lazy fucker, and in my head I was just thinking I've got to get home. But I've realised now that just doing that walking, that actually it is a panic. I just hadn't, because I don't really have anxiety and panic before, I just thought it was very much flamboyant in that a panic attack's a panic attack, I didn't realise that it could be really internalised.
Yeah, it can come in so many different forms, can't it? And I think half the time people don't know that it is anxiety.
No, that's what I'm saying. I didn't.
Yeah.
It's not until I'm actually now walking inside that I'm realising that I don't have that same level of panic. I just get bored now.
Yeah.
It's completely different. I mean, it's a bit boring, walking on a walk pad, staring at the same wall, but
Yeah, I actually, on our treadmill, I put a TV in front of the treadmill, but I don't know if you use it, so
No, well, I've put it in front of the telly, but I also don't know how to turn the telly on, so I'm just staring at a black screen.
And you're our technical department.
No, I know. So I didn't know how to work it.
But actually, going back to anxieties, I thought of something I was going to tell you the other night. I've sort of, like we feel like in our journey we're going backwards sometimes, and we put ourselves under that pressure. We're totally not going backwards. It's just things are coming up. I've got a thing that's coming up now when I go to bed. I'm going back, and I don't know if it's because it's the anniversary. I'm going back to, oh my God, I've not done a Ned's. I forgot something.
Really?
I forgot something vital, and that's been happening to me, and I'm having to calm myself down again at night. And
wow, interesting.
I don't know where it's come from, because that I would say a good 6 months that's not been happening.
Do you think it's that whole thing that we always say that even if subconsciously we don't think we're aware of dates and timelines, do you think that it's subconsciously your body and your mind is still knowing that we're coming up to that 2-year point, and it's on its start to kind of you having your struggling moments?
I don't know. I've no idea. It's just, like, I think a lot of it is perhaps a bit, not guilty, but not being able to accept I haven't got that to worry about. So, like, when I get into bed and I think, there's got to be something. There's got to be something I need to worry about.
I think that a lot of that is because you have a lot of personal stress going on at the moment. And I think that maybe you're just so used to at the minute, you've got so much going on, you've got so much to remember, so much to do, so much to plan and think about, that on those moments when you go to bed and your brain starts to quieten a little bit, I think your brain's just got so used to being so wired at the minute that it's just feeling a bit odd, being in a little bit of a calmer state.
Yeah. Yeah, because last night I had a meeting yesterday, as you know, about something, and it was something really, really important.
Yeah.
And there were figures involved, there were facts, figures, and implications. And I thought, oh Jesus, I'm not going to sleep tonight. I did. I didn't even think about it. I was thinking about am I a Dex? And have I got enough food? Have I got, the bottles of food that I had to feed her? And where the hell did that come from?
For me, when that happens to me, it's just a complete overwhelm. It's a shutdown, and that's the only thing your brain can think about. And that's what I've been doing, is saying to you quite a lot. I've been having that shutdown, that overwhelm, but all I can think about is Bradley. Like, I don't have the headspace for anything else when everything gets too much.
Right. That's like your go-to stress.
Yeah, it's like I can't get rid of that.
Yeah. But because of that, I think it helps you put things in perspective, that nothing else really matters and it'll all be sorted.
Yeah, that's true.
No matter what. Because what we have been through and what others have been through is so shit that no other shit thrown at us can ever have the impact that this major shit has had.
No.
I know that's not a technical way of putting it, but
it's very it's fine. I was just listening to a book by Megan Riordan Jarvis, and it's called Can You Tell Me? And literally the chapter that I just got up to, and I was just thinking to myself, when I was on the treadmill obviously, and I was just thinking to myself, that's really mean. She was saying something along the lines of, a lot of people, she's a grief and trauma expert, and she was saying that when a lot of people come into her office to see her, they really feel like, why am I fixated on since, so-and-so died? all I can think about is my relationship with my mum, or my, like this one particular person was saying when her dad died, she felt super angry at her mum, and it wasn't her mum's fault. It was nothing to do with her mum, and she couldn't understand why she felt that anger directed towards her mum. And Megan was saying that it's very much like that's our brain's way of distracting, of projecting. So that makes complete sense for me. I mean, I've said to you, like, there's been so many feelings about my past that got dragged up when Bradley died, and then I felt really guilty for concentrating on all of those. Like, why on earth would my primary thought and emotions not be around Bradley? And they weren't. They were around past events. And apparently that's just your brain's way of saying that thinking about Bradley is far too hard, but we recognize the last time that you had pain was to do with this, so let's think about this again, because we know how to deal with that, because your brain's already wired to deal with that. And so it's a distraction and avoidance thing to totally avoid the actual pain. And that's made me feel loads better in that, because I'd said to you many times, I felt so guilty for not prioritizing my thoughts about Bradley. And I feel loads better now for knowing that that's quite a normal defensive deflection reaction. So maybe in part that's, some of the things that are going on with you is your brain's just defense mechanism. I don't know.
It's good, isn't it?
It's interesting.
It's good, this brain.
Yes, the brain has so much to answer for. It's a pity that it doesn't do more useful things, but never mind.
Perhaps we can train it to.
But anyway, you're back from Spain. Had a lovely time.
I'm exhausted.
I mean, the amount of jobs you did, honestly. Like, every minute you're sending me new jobs. I mean, I'd go out there and just lay in the sun.
No, that's dangerous.
I know.
No, can't do that.
You work so hard, you make me tired just reading the messages. Like,
we fit a lot into a day, don't we?
You do. With your walking and your fixing and your building and
painting. Oh my God. And I don't bother doing nails or anything like that. And we go to the airport, you can see everybody, the new trainers, and all the nails are done. And I have to hide mine. Oh my God. That's why I don't wash my hair for a week and stuff. Because...
Yeah, but everybody else goes out with a bikini in their bag. You go out with paintbrushes and bloody screwdrivers.
Chisels. Oh my God, if you see our hand luggage, the guy at the thing, I said, I know these are not fluids, but I'm taking them out. And he went, right, okay. And he just looked at me. And then this other woman said, what's all that? I said, oh, it's turmeric. I said, and that's chili powder. And what sort of chili powder is that? And I was telling her about the big bag of chili powder. All this great big cube behind me. And she's going, wow, I've never seen as many herbs and spices.
Did you take your coriander?
No, I got that last time. Got plenty of ground coriander.
That's fine.
So it was that chili powder that we got from the...
Yeah,
it was that. That's what I was taking.
Oh, okay.
Great big bag of it. So it was. It's very interesting. My bags as they go through.
Oh, what you like?
Yeah. So, back exhausted. Ready to be more exhausted. Got a lot to do these next few months, but it's all gonna come to a head, and I'll be sorted, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think you're doing really well. You're doing loads better than me emotionally.
I know.
I kind of look at how I've been the last few months, and I keep waiting for you to go through it too, to tell me that it's a completely normal reaction, and you're like, nah, I'm fine.
Do you want me to have a breakdown? Do you want me to have a breakdown and cry?
Yeah, you'd make me feel so much better.
Okay. All right, point taken. I will do.
Oh dear.
Well,
no.
Sometimes I do worry. Because right at the beginning, you said you was waiting for this great big massive, we were doing too well, and you was waiting for this great big massive hole to fall into. Like, you might have had the odd foot go into a hole and be submerged for a while, but we're doing all right. And even that worries us, doesn't it? That, oh my God, are we doing too well? Not that we don't love them, not that we're not missing them, but is something else going to kick in? And there's always that fear, I think.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that stems with, for me anyway, is that I genuinely always thought that if one of my kids died, I would die. And it's that whole disbelief of like, how am I still functioning? You know, like Tasha and Matt come most weekends for dinner and we go and see other friends and we laugh and, you know, we do enjoy ourselves. And that feels wrong to say, but I shouldn't feel guilty for that. But we do enjoy ourselves. You know, it doesn't mean that there isn't sadness along there too, but the joy is still there, but it just feels so weird.
Different. It's just different.
It does feel wrong.
But we don't have to put a title on it. What we've got to do is just do it and grab as many chances of happiness and joy as we possibly can, I think.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to bring them back.
No. It still does create that daily, for me, what's the point in life? And I still haven't really found an answer to that. I still don't understand what is the point to life. And I don't mean that in a, you know, I'm just, what's the point in life? Like,
No.
I just, in a genuinely inquisitive way, what's the point? Like,
I agree with you.
What do we do it all for?
We was, one night, my son was all dressed up, he looked lovely, and I said, oh, we was going out for something to eat, and so take a picture of, you know, to my husband, said, take a picture. And he wouldn't have a picture taken. And it's no. And so Rob went, please, just have a picture taken with your mum. He went, no. I went, forget it. Just forget it. And then all night I was thinking, do you know what? I've probably only got about 20 years before I die. And I wanted to say to him, I'll be dead in 20 years. Within the next 20 years, at some point, I'll be dead. And you'll think, oh, it's nasty, really, isn't it? That's like wanting to put my upset and cause turmoil in his head because mine's got turmoil and upset. It's not nice.
No, I think that's quite normal.
I mean, I've said things like that in anger before, but this wasn't anger. This was thought about. This was, right, I'm nearly 60. I've got a couple of years off being 60. So I'll probably live till I'm 80. 20 years-ish. If I'm lucky, a bit less. And I wanted to get that point across, but not in an angry way.
Of course you did. It's frustration, isn't it? Yeah. You know, it's a frustration. I mean, the same. I had Nathan, I think I said in the last podcast, had my nephew for the weekend. Yeah, had a lovely, lovely time.
Don't make me cry. Both made me cry.
I know, I rang you and cried, didn't I? Some unexpected emotions from that you'd thought about but hadn't said to me, but genuinely hadn't crossed my mind until they slapped me in the face. But still, at the end of that weekend, I remember taking Nathan home and thinking, you silly cow, you still haven't learnt. I really took very few photos of them, all the kids having fun together. And you know, when you just think, when am I going to learn to take more photos? I mean, most of the photos that I have with Bradley and videos I have with Bradley, I took after people told me he was going to die. And they're all videos and pictures of him ill. I have very few of him before he was poorly because I just forget to do it. And I still can't remember to do it. And it's something I wholeheartedly would preach to everybody about. Remember to take the photos. They're really important. They're all you've got left. And I just don't do it in the moment. I forget all the time.
It's like when you have your first child and you got a million photos and a million videos. And the second one, we better video. So you see all the videos all done in this way.
Hence why Bradley was my fourth. So by the time we got to Bradley, he's fucked. There's none. So then when he dies, I'm like, oh fuck! I really haven't taken any pictures of him.
No, he didn't stand a chance.
He really didn't. He really didn't. That novelty had well and truly worn off.
Probably couldn't even find the camcorder that you did.
No.
Did you have camcorders in your day?
Yeah, because honestly, when my kids were born, it was videos. My kids used to watch videos. Like, yeah, my kids were born before DVDs. Yeah, so yeah, we had camcorders. We didn't have phones. Certainly didn't have smartphones. I think Bradley was 10 before like smartphones really became a thing with cameras. So yeah, that's like not really a thing for me. So
I have got quite a few that have been put from the the camcorders onto disc. Ooh, don't know if I'll be able to watch them yet.
Yeah,
I can picture them. I can picture them in my head now. We used to go to Cyprus a lot, and there was always in the pool 2 kids with a big blown up crocodile, and the racing and in the pool, and I could picture it. That's all right, picturing it, but I don't know I could sit and watch it on the screen.
No, I had a few days this week where I could do videos and photos. Not been able to do that for months. And obviously it's the kids' 2-year anniversary coming up in a couple of weeks. So I was thinking in my head what I wanted to post online about Bradley on his page and, on our page, on my page, whatever. And I was going through all the videos and I found myself smiling while I was watching and sad, God, sobbing at the same time with tears running down my face. But I found myself smiling at them. Like, I chose videos where he was laughing and I found myself smiling back at him. And I was only looking at really happy photos and videos and stuff. Whereas some days I just can't do that.
No.
I just can't do that at all. And I can't even look at any of them. And that felt like a huge step forward. And I can't remember whether I mentioned it on the last podcast, but I bought one of those QR code things for his bench and his car. And I started to write the information on it. You scan it and it takes you a bit like a bit like a Facebook page, I guess. And it tells you about, the person who you kind of memorializing and stuff. And I was able to write that in a bit more of a way about Bradley, as opposed to about Bradley's story and how he was let down. It wasn't about the cancer and it wasn't about who let us down. It was about him. And that felt like a massive step forward for me because I've not been able to do that, have I? And I've said to you so many times, like, whenever I talk about Bradley, all I focus on is the cancer and how let down he was. And I've always wanted to tell his story about him.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm being able to do that a little bit more.
That's good.
Yeah, that feels like a massive weight's been lifted for me because I feel like that hopefully going forward I can share more of him.
What do you think's helped with that massive impact? Is it something you've done? Is it your therapy, or is it just I don't know, are you feeling stronger? Or
I definitely feel stronger than I have in the last few months. As we know, like, I've been a bit of a misog and I've been a bit fucking miserable on here. And I've really struggled, and I definitely feel in a stronger place. I mean, I weighed myself yesterday. Fuck my life. I've gained 1.5 stone in the last 3 months. So everything that I lost, all back on and more.
Doesn't matter. You're in a better mindset now.
Yeah. I am a horrific emotional eater, and on top of that, I just stopped moving. I stopped all of the exercise that I did to lose the weight. I just stopped doing. So that's got a million times worse, and so I feel a little bit more motivated to do stuff like that. What I was thinking when I was walking this morning, now I'm a little bit worried, is I've gone back into, okay, I can do this. And I'm a little bit worried that I'm just going to go full bore and just like knacker myself out again. So I'm really consciously, your word you love, is trying to find a balance. And still, even though I feel like I can do everything and I want to do everything and I want to do it now, get it all over and done with, I'm forcing myself to take.
Right. We'll help you with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not natural for me.
No, we'll do it together. And when I feel like that you're not balanced, I'll tell you
Yeah.
in a very supportive, caring.
Looking forward to that.
I'll go on Google how to do that. Yeah, you'll do it. Of course you'll do it. And if you can come to these decisions and feel stronger at this time of year that you're at, yeah,
Yeah.
how good are you doing?
Yeah, I do worry because I felt this strong before Bradley's birthday and I coped with the day fine. And it was those few days after, literally, like within 72 hours, that I felt everything just fall off the edge of a cliff.
Yeah. So you're all ready now.
I'm a bit more prepared.
You're prepared, and you know that what you're thinking now is, all right, I'm going to be all right, but then I'm going to go downhill afterwards. All right? Why do you put that into your head?
It's more of a fear. It's more of a, it's a worry.
It's every day.
It's a control freak part of me.
We could wake up tomorrow. We could we're fine now. This afternoon we might not be fine. It's going to happen at some point, whenever. So don't try your best not to preempt it and just.
Yeah.
We used to have this. We have this saying in our family. We'll see what we see. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's never worked, and everybody takes the piss out of me because it stemmed from when we used to go out in France. And like, say, what we're doing for food? Are we getting food before we go out? Are we going to do something? We're going to make some baguettes, blah, blah, blah. I'll say, we'll see what we see. And that was my saying. And we'd set off in the car, right? If you're in rural France, you see fuck all. For lunch, everywhere shuts for lunch.
Yeah.
Cafes shut for lunch. Restaurants shut for lunch. Shops shut for lunch. So sometimes you can't use that, and we still use it every day now. And especially when we're away, and Rob will say, "Are we getting organised, or are we see what we see?"
Okay,
so
I'll try that one.
Yeah, see what you see. Think about that now. Think about me with 2 kids in the back of the car, bleeding, starving, because I haven't made a baguette and took it out with us, wrapped it in foil and put it in the picnic basket, right? And I just wait to see what I see.
I'm doing that today in my whole bid to be organised. That's why I wanted to record the podcast with you this early in the morning, because I'm waiting for the shops to open, because obviously we live out in the sticks a little bit and they don't open very early. So I can't go to shop till 10. So I'm waiting for the shops to open so I can go and pick up my food shopping, and I'm going to meal prep and stick it all in my freezer and hope that takes away some stress element of, because when I was eating all healthy and that before Christmas, it was great, but having to cook breakfast, lunch and dinner every single day, and so I know it sounds stupid, but to think about what to cook for breakfast, lunch and dinner every day, it all just got too much. Yeah. Honestly, it got so overwhelming in amongst gym and work and life and the dog and the kids and everything. It got too much. So I sat yesterday and I wrote a meal plan for the next 2 weeks, and I'm going to go and cook it all, stick it in my freezer and see if that A, helps me eat better, and B, helps with my time management. If it doesn't work, I won't do it again. But when you think, well, I'll give it a go.
What if it does work? What if it works? That'd be great. Then it make your life easier to have one day every fortnight to do all your cooking. So all you have to do is go in the freezer and get something. Oh, it's some things are not always best from the freezer, are they? Some things you'll have to do fresh. But if you've got them on the list and you've got it in and you know it's there.
Yeah, like I want to make a load of lamb koftas and stuff and a load of burgers so that we've got them ready for the barbecue, and then I can just freeze them all. Whereas normally I'd sit and make them on the day, but I'm just going to do a load of stuff like that.
I've probably got 20 lamb koftas in our freezer. Hot and spicy lamb koftas or mint lamb koftas. They're there. You can even cook them from frozen.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
So all you have to think of is you can put pita breads or flatbreads in the freezer if you want to make them. And then all you have to get then is salad.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, just
And every week I make a tzatziki anyway, because I love tzatziki.
oh, it's gorgeous, yours, yeah.
And
it's not like
I-
a shop bought one; it's a proper one.
oh yeah, it's good. And I love mayo, but obviously mayo's so bad for you. But if I'm eating healthily, I can easily take mayo out of my diet and just eat tzatziki.
What?
So I always make that every week anyway. But what I'm finding is like what I found today. This is my first time. Don't know what I mean, like finding plural. Like I'm a pro.
Professional.
For fuck's sake. I've planned some foods that I've never cooked before. Brave or stupid, I don't know. But I didn't sleep last night. I'm so excited because I love cooking and I love experimenting with recipes. I didn't sleep last night. That's why I was up so bloody early. I'm so excited to cook all these recipes that I've never done before. So that in itself is like a mood booster for me.
Do you know what else it is? Gonna like
go on.
It's finding balance.
Knew you were going to say that. Knew you were going to say that. Yeah. So yeah, it's something that floats my boat. So I feel excited and happy about it. And a silly thing, like I bought a new vegetable chopper. You know, like you put a little thing in it and you shut the lid and it chops.
It's not one of them mandolins that take a finger off, is it?
Well, yeah, you can do that as well. So I'm so excited about like using that. Like I woke up this morning and thought all I want to do is make my pico de gallo because I want to cut it all up.
Right. Can we just get something straight here now? Can I just say something? Do not let Simon use that equipment.
Could you imagine?
Unless you let him use it, sat outside A&E.
Yeah, he's so clumsy, isn't he?
I've never ever been anywhere where he hasn't fallen.
No, honestly, it's like having a toddler. We have to take, and it's always in the boot of our car, is a spare pair of pants, socks, trousers, and t-shirt for Simon because, like you say, he always falls over, and like there's always spare clothes in our car for him because it's like having a toddler. You have to take him everywhere.
When they come here, when you come into us, obviously go clay shooting with my husband and my son, and he would disappeared once. And he'd fell down the back of the car down this hill.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, Simon's like, 5'10", and his length is in his body, not in his legs. He's got a 27-inch inside leg. He has short ass legs. Rob's 6'3". Simon had to go home in Rob's jeans. Oh dear.
Oh God. Anyway, so we've talked about grief food planning. Should we call it?
Yeah.
So put some posts on. I
was going to say, do you know what? If it works, there'd be great. Let me test the waters first to see how easy these are. But there'd be great ideas for people to support somebody else who's grieving. You know, like these would have been things that I would have loved for people to have brought round.
I would still love it. You know, just
yeah. Do you know what inspired me? I think I said to you last weekend I went to see Megan and little baby Grace, and when I went to see Megan, Simon and I cooked her a load of food, like 2 weeks worth of foods to put in the freezer for her and her partner, just because, you know, with a new baby, it's hard, isn't it? You don't get much sleep. And it actually really didn't take very long. And we thought when we were doing it, why the fuck don't we do this for ourselves?
Yeah.
You know, what? This is just such an obvious thing for us to do for Megan, yet we've never thought to do this for ourselves. Yeah. So that's hence why we're here this weekend.
Yeah, I do it for Alan in Spain, my next door neighbour.
But don't do it for yourself.
Don't do it for myself.
No, I don't know why our brains work like that.
It's
weird, isn't it?
Very, very strange, that. So there you go. That's something that we weren't supposed to be recording. We're supposed to be having a guest this week. So this is a slight change, isn't it? So we've got about 3 records next week with guests. So don't worry. We promise you this is the last one of us boring for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, there was just some technical difficulties with that, wasn't there? So that's going ahead next week now instead. Yeah, so
what was that thing you was telling me about? I mean, all this thing about time management and all. You do watch some shit on social media.
Yeah.
What did you send me?
I love a Reddit "Am I the Arse" post. I don't know whether anybody else reads these, likes them.
I had to
love them.
What that meant.
Did you?
Yeah. I was quite...
The AITA?
Yeah.
Am I the ass? Oh, love them. Love them. I love just dissecting people's lives. But there was one that I came across that I don't know whether it's because it's coming up to the kids' anniversaries, and I said to Simon, what do you want to do for Bradley's anniversary on the 1st of June? And he made me cry, and he said, I'd like to do something. And I was like, okay. He was like, can we have a barbecue? I was like, yeah, if you want, we can just... He said, can we have just an open house and have a barbecue and people come round? He said, because I don't want to be sad that Bradley died. I want to celebrate that he lived. And he said, so I think we should just have fun, because that's what he'd want, because we need to celebrate that he was lived, not focus on the fact that he's not here.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, fine. So I texted my family and I was like, does anybody want to come on the Saturday or the Sunday? Like, what day works best for everybody? And I'll plan it. And, so we're kind of in the middle of planning that. And then I read this. And now I'm thinking, oh, fuck, am I doing the wrong thing? So maybe it was just the timing and I read this, but
that explains now why you sent me that. Yeah,
where my mindset was. Yeah. So it says, am I the arse for not involving myself with my in-laws' baby loss 3 years running? My sister-in-law had a stillbirth 3 years ago. We were so saddened and offered support. She has 3 living children before this. At Christmas, before the 1-year anniversary, she opened our Christmas card. A few moments later, she then picked it back up, stated that she couldn't display it unless her baby's name was included, and proceeded to write her name in the card. I tried to put it to the back of my mind, but honestly, I felt like she could have just taken the card home and just written the name, save making me an example in front of the entire family. We attended the first 2 memorials and found them awkward or difficult. My sibling was stillborn, as I grew up in a household that didn't talk about it. Whenever my siblings and I tried to ask questions about our stillborn sibling, our mother would shut us down. During family gatherings, she makes excessive comments and social media posts that nothing feels right without her angel baby being there. My other sister-in-law and I find this upsetting, and she makes these comments as we cannot help that our children survived and one of hers didn't. She has 3 other healthy children to care for. During a family gathering, she made a comment that her living children recently asked her who her favourite was, and that she responded that her angel baby was her favourite. The room went silent. As a child who was repeatedly told with such venom that I wouldn't have been born had my sibling have survived, this broke me. So anniversary 3 rolled round recently. Again, we were asked to attend a memorial, although this time she called it a birthday, and that struck me as a bit odd. But we felt it was too much for us to go through again after attending the first 2, so we decided not to go, but we chose to light a candle, and I wore my angel wings brooch for the week before and the week after the passing date. We've now received a message from my mother-in-law to state that my sister-in-law is very upset with us all, as we didn't make the effort, and that we need to apologise. Whilst I appreciate she's still grieving, she's able to do that in her own way, and if others choose to grieve differently, then that's okay too. I don't believe you can dictate to others how they grieve, or that you can have the monopoly on grief. So I agree with what she's saying, that people that can grieve in their own way and all of that, and I find it a little bit odd that they're a little bit put out about the birthday thing and all of that, and I was like, God, is that what people think about me and Bradley? Am I just shoving this down people's throats? Do you see what I mean?
Have you invited all your family?
Yeah.
And they didn't come this year? How would you feel?
Gutted.
Okay. Now, I can't ask you the same for in 5 years' time, because we don't know how we're going to feel in 5 years' time.
No.
It all goes back to that everybody else's lives are carrying on and ours are not.
Yeah.
And everybody's different. But I think if you just say, this is what we're doing, I totally understand if you don't want to come.
Yeah.
and still do what you want to do. This year, like you just said, you're doing the barbecue. And if people don't turn up, which they're not going to year upon year, they're going to fall by the wayside. But we've got to accept that to a certain point, because what of the point of not accepting it will just generate the being forced to go.
Yeah.
And that will make us feel even worse that we're forcing them to do it, that they don't want to do it. It's so difficult.
And like the whole thing about not putting someone's name in a card, I get it. And sometimes, I like it when people put Bradley's name in a card, but I don't feel a need to, say something if they don't. And I get that that's a really personal choice. I think
I can't comment on that because I don't send anybody cards, so nobody sends me cards anymore.
No, well, I don't do cards a lot, to be fair. And if I do send them, I just write the Hadmans.
Yeah, I write the Kinsellas now.
Yeah.
Because I just put love from all the Kinsellas.
Yeah, I do.
That includes Emily because she's a Kinsella. But if we just go back to the barbecue.
Yeah.
You are doing something fun for people to remember Bradley. You are making it easier for people to come. You're making it an easier day for you, the kids, and anybody that comes will have a fun day. Yes,
that's what I think.
In the day, there will be tears.
Yeah.
If that woman was go back to the sister-in-law, and if her and her other sister-in-law felt uncomfortable going, that is the issue. Why? How could they not talk to her and say, we feel uncomfortable, what can we do? We still want to come, we still want to remember the baby. And it's all about communication, isn't it? And talking and telling people your feelings.
I think a lot of it with that post was like, I'll just read you some of the responses that were written underneath it. And it was like, it says, one guy said, I just don't understand why you would need to include someone who's dead on a card. They're dead. You don't need to wish them a happy Christmas.
That's somebody who's never lost somebody then, isn't it?
Yeah, and you think, okay. And then somebody else said, this wasn't a miscarriage. This was a death of a fully formed child. If it was stillborn, she's put, if it was stillborn, then I would say that it doesn't count.
Ooh.
I know. This is what I'm reading is, and then it says here, a lot of people have a hard enough time at a funeral as it is. Some of these are uncomfortable grieving openly and publicly. I wouldn't attend any annual memorial party for anyone. I don't understand why anyone would need to do it more than once I went to the funeral.
Yeah. You can see most of the comments are like those that have lost and those that haven't.
Yeah, and then they're like, she needs help. She needs help. She needs help with her grief. She's stuck in her grief. This isn't normal. You shouldn't be grieving this far on.
Yeah, it's there's a because there were a few supportive messages, weren't there?
There was a couple of people saying that they'd lost a child themselves and that it was difficult. Yeah, they were saying that, I think this is all a little bit weird. There are things too that we never talked about in my past. Maybe that's what it's got to do with it. I think it's crazy to take a day each year to acknowledge the birthday or the loss of someone that's dead. They're not here. They're not here to enjoy it. We had a funeral. Was that not enough?
No, nothing will ever be enough.
No. This person sounds like they're capitalizing on their grief. They're being a manipulator. Sympathy, that they just want the sympathy for intention. It's hard to argue with that. But it's a narcissistic behavior. That's what all the comments saying, and you think, is that what people think? Yeah, she needs to get counselling ASAP. She needs to do the hard work. This is unreasonable of her to expect this. You have to continue on living, acting like they're still alive. It's not healthy. And you think, wow.
Yeah.
That's what society thinks. I mean, I have to say, I am very fortunate in that I don't have people like that in my life, and I've not come across people like that. But they clearly exist. And I think just because I read it on the day that Simon and I were having that conversation, I was like, oh, fuck, now I'm second guessing, and I'm questioning whether people think this is too much. And I guess the answer to that is, does it really matter what other people think? But,
No.
Well, but I'm one of those people that sadly I do worry about what other people think.
Well, I think you're doing everything right, so that's all you need to know.
And that's all that matters, right? Because you're the oracle of everything.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I'm a self-confessed know-it-all.
And that's fine. That's fine.
You're always going to find somebody. I mean, you can't please everybody all the time. We know that. And you're always going to find somebody. But it's all going back to finding your tribe. But then the tribe then needs to educate the people that are not in the tribe. Because when it hits them, when they're the ones with the loss, they might just start thinking. But going back to the sister-in-law that had actually lost a sibling within her family, she's obviously still got that. I lost a sibling, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, she should have more empathy.
You'd have thought.
She should think, do you know what? She's doing it right because I still, obviously, she brought the things that she said was bringing deep things up, and if they were dealt with at the time, and she was grieving, like, did she say in the post, I don't think you read about it, that she became obsessed with, I'm thinking that's somebody else, I'm getting mixed up.
I don't know.
No, it was a lady that messaged us. It was a lady that messaged us, a really lovely lady who had a loss and wasn't allowed to speak about it.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what I'm getting mixed up with. She wasn't allowed to speak about it. On the day of her mum's death, she was taken to a neighbour's and they shut the curtain so she couldn't see anything. And she still remembers that now, and she's still dealing with that now. So she would be a fantastic guest to get on and just say, because she would be able to help so many people understand
what that means.
The way, I can't say the wrong way her family dealt with it because it's not me to judge,
but the ramifications of how they dealt with it on her emotions,
a massive
lasting impact through life.
Very much so. And you can turn that round and say, I'm going to make a difference now because I know how it was wrong for me and how many other people that it's going to be wrong for, to get it out there, to talk about it. And all these people that put messages on like that, to read something and think, oh, God, do you know what? Never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
Because all they've got in their head is what they know. And luckily, they don't know what's in our heads.
Yeah.
But if people just open up a little bit and listen to what's in our heads, not me and you, I mean everybody that's grieving, if we can get it out there, maybe people will have more empathy, understanding, and control the stupid things we say a little bit more.
It just there's just so much more work needs to be done clearly on. Sometimes I think all this stuff that we want to do with grief education and things, sometimes I sit here and I think, no, but the word is getting out there and people do know, because you and I have both been surrounded by some lovely people who do get it and they do try really hard to say the right things. I mean, everybody says the wrong thing sometimes, but
I do.
Yeah, exactly. In the main, as a whole, we've been really lucky in that, we've not really been up against any stupidity like that kind of stuff online. And I suppose I was just starting to think that maybe people got it. And then I read that post and I was like, there is so many people that don't get it.
Yeah, you could read 1,000 posts like that. There are so many people that don't get it.
Yeah.
It's a lifelong thing for us now to make sure that if we can make one person get it.
Yeah.
It's something, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, and just to understand how important it is for us that are left behind, to remember and to keep our people.
It's not just important for us, it's important for people in the future. And that's why the grief education in schools is so important, because they are our future. And if we can get it right in them, they will take it forward, and it'll just be a roll-on effect then that we deal with things better.
Yeah. Yeah, it will just be ingrained in families to talk about it better and open up about it. And it will just become natural over time.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's so needed. And we have a brilliant guest on in a couple of weeks who's going to come and talk a lot more about sort of how the body reacts to grief and stuff. But she does an amazing TED talk about grief education. And in her TED talk, she talks about how, puberty is a massive thing in our life, hormones and menopause and all of that. And we have sex education in schools to discuss how our bodies change and how all of that is also important. Yet the other thing that's going to happen to all of us, in the same way that we're all going to age and we're all going to grow up, is that we're all going to die. Yet we don't teach grief education in the same way that we teach about aging and hormones and changes. And so many of the symptoms of grief are similar to the symptoms of menopause and hormone changes and all of that, yet we're okay to talk about it when it's life progressing and life is going on. But when it comes to the fact that it's hard work because life is ending, we're scared of it.
Yes. Yeah.
Anyway, I didn't want today to be a tangent about that, but it's something that we're very passionate about.
Yeah. Plus, we do lots and lots of things about it, and it's got to help.
Yeah.
It's got to make a difference.
And I need to stop reading Reddit Am I the Arse posts, but they are a great distraction. Some of the things that people ask on there, honestly, I love to be judge, jury and executioner on all of them, I tell you. Don't ever write a comment as rude as any of them. I don't ever write a comment at all, I just read them. But
she should write a comment. Why haven't you commented on that?
Could you imagine? I'd be trolled for the rest of my life because it wouldn't be polite, would it? I don't have a filter like you.
No, you can just put something pleasant. You could just put something, I've taken on board all your comments, and I refer you to Room to Grieve podcast, and you need to you need to learn.
Yes, I'll do that.
It'd be nice to know what people think. How would you answer that?
Because I am intrigued to know, when I sent it to you, your immediate response was completely different to mine.
Yeah.
And so it's just really interesting to see across the board. It really helps us with the grief education planning and stuff too. And, what people's mindsets are really like and what people think and how people, what have people come across with memorial dates and stuff, Have you done something for your child's anniversary, birthdays, all the rest of it? And how did people react to that? Because I'm feeling a little bit worried about doing this on the 1st of June now, but I'll let you know how it goes.
No, definitely not. I think you're doing an absolutely fantastic way. I think Simon's idea, and you've found balance for the day.
Yeah.
You found balance for a sad day. It is a very, very sad day. But every day is a bloody sad day. So if we can take that day and turn it around and make it a celebration.
It's in my phone, the 1st of June, when I click on the 1st of June. And I don't know when I did it. Must have done it when he died. And if I click it, it just says the saddest day in the world. Because it is. I don't know when I put it in my phone, but I did. On the recurring thing in my calendar. Funny what little things you do.
Please don't write a Reddit about that. I can't imagine the bloody comments you'll have about that. This woman needs therapy. Yeah, she's tried that.
My therapy's finished, by the way. That's it. My 12 weeks is done.
Your therapy is finished, or you finish your therapist?
No, my therapy is finished. And there's nothing else planned because she said, you have to take 6 weeks off from an end of therapy kind of session. And she just said, really honestly and candidly, and I appreciate her for it, is that I have a lot of trauma in my life, past trauma, but I do have my own coping ways of coping with that. And she said, and with your grief with Bradley, she said, it's just shit. She said, and it's always going to be there and it's never going to go away. And, no amount of sessions that we have is going to change anything.
No.
And no amount of sessions is going to make you feel any less sad, because that's just not possible. And so it's just about, like you say, it's just about taking that time out, finding that balance, and being able to, just have that. She just likes the word balance too. Being able to have that balance and do what I need. And she said, like, me being in that full-blown everything all go mode, she said that's okay for me because I need that. I just need to remember not to do it all of the time.
Yeah.
And it's just identifying that and understanding that. So I don't think I need any more therapy. I'm not as broken as I thought.
I don't think, I think what you're doing, I think you're finding balance without even knowing it.
I've just got to get better at allowing myself to feel the sadness.
Yeah.
Without being scared of it.
It's knowing when to let the sadness in. You think like the therapy and everything that you do, and you look into this, you look into that. You're learning all the time, and you're learning on what days you can take stuff and what days you can't, and you know that because you've opened them pictures up and the videos to work on the QR code and gone, whoa, can't do that today. Put it away, and I'll try again tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's learning. That's knowing.
Yeah.
Not sitting there forcing yourself to do it, because if you'd have done that, it'd have been a different story. It'd have had a different outcome. So you listened to your body and you chose the right day, and by doing that, you've wrote the story you wanted. Not saying the story about Brad that you'd done when we did Brad's story right at the beginning of this journey was wrong. That was the story then, where your mindset was at.
And everything was factual in it. It's just, I hated the fact that my focus was on the negative rather than how wonderful he was. But I'd said to you so many times that I just couldn't tell the story the other way. I couldn't.
The story at that time, if you'd have told it another way, wouldn't have been the truth, wouldn't have been the right story. Yeah. 2 years on, nearly, the story is Brad. And we take Brad forward with us. We acknowledge Brad, or Bradley, as the troll said. I got his name wrong. For God's sake. We take him forward with us and celebrate his life and still talk about him. What more does a mum want? Mums talk about the kids. Why should we not talk about them? Because they're dead.
No, I get it.
So we will carry on doing that.
So it's weird in that over the 2 years, I mean, the reflective is you actually share Emily less, not because you don't want to, but you've just realised that you don't need to tell everybody that the impact isn't any less by not telling. And I share Bradley more. It's weird, isn't it? Like we're finding that balance, and we're meeting in the middle.
Please, can we call this episode Balance?
If you wish.
So but it's still, I've got to be honest, you say I share less. I still think, as I'm talking to anybody, new person, somebody who's already in my life, whatever, I will still in my mind think, how can I change the subject to Evelyn?
No, I get that. I didn't mean that in a bad way.
I know he didn't mean it in a bad way at all. I don't take it that way, but that's still there in my head. But I am choosing now more and more to think, going back to what I think it was either Sydney or Morgan said.
Yeah.
Or somebody said, they don't deserve to hear about Emily.
Yeah, because if it's not going to impact them and they're not going to take it on board, then they don't deserve to know about her.
How? And now I don't feel any guilt by thinking, by making that decision. Whereas at first I'd have to tell everybody whether they were listening or not. They might go away and think, God, that woman's talking about a dead daughter. That was awkward, right? I wouldn't have cared. Now I do. And I think, no. So is that growth? Is that coming to terms with things. And nah, I doubt it. It's just
Balance.
balance and life with death in it. So let's go and get on with our day. You go you get to the shots now. Put some
I am so excited to go and cook.
I'm excited to see what you cook. 'Cause you're a brilliant cook, and I love to see what you've cooked.
Yeah.
Did you like my biryani last night? I sent you a picture of.
I did. I'm doing a biryani. I'm doing a lamb boona. I'm going to make a load of like burritos so that like Simon and Zachary can take them for work. Like I'm going to do a load of breakfast burritos so that they can take them work and lunch. And I'm going to do some minted lamb ones with bulgur wheat and Moroccan like style chickpeas, and kind of excited to do all of that. I'm going to make just the normal lasagnas and chilies, very basic. I'm going to do a blue cheese pasta, which I know you don't like cheese, so.
What?
But yeah, I know. But the kids like that. That's quite nice. I'm going to do a chicken and chorizo jambalaya.
Do paella.
Well, do a jambalaya because it's quicker and it's easier.
I must before we go just tell you that we do a lot of cooking, and my son does a lot of cooking, and he wanted to do a more authentic paella, and he wanted to use the rabbit. So obviously we can't find rabbit here.
Yeah.
And you just go to the butchers and they go, no. So we said, right, when we're in Spain, we'll get some rabbit. So all the supermarkets will have it. So I got this packet of rabbit. Didn't really look at it. We got it home. Honest to God, it was like roadkill.
Oh, really?
Right. There was cannot use the salt. I said to Nal, "Oh, this is your rabbit." He went, "Ugh." It said, didn't know you'd be able to see what it looked like. I mean, there was one in the supermarket had its head on and everything. I looking at you like that, you're about to chop its head off. So we didn't have rabbit.
No.
So we had it in the restaurant just to see the taste, but I can honestly say, hand on heart, that paella in the restaurant was nowhere near as good as ours.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. We've got the
impressive
started, we've got everything, and we'll do without the bloody rabbit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honest to God, if there's anything that make you vegetarian, it was that.
Oh, I'm glad I didn't see it. I'm glad you didn't show Simon he'd never eat paella again.
No. But yeah, let's get on. Let's get some healthy eating. Put some posts up for us all about what you've done, and give us all ideas and planning. And it does plan your mind. It's a healthy mind when it's been planned. And
yeah, I've just got to be conscious of not planning and doing too much. Getting to that burnout stage again.
No, you won't. We'll tell you.
Yeah. But that's what this is going to do. It's going to make my life easier so I don't have to cook 3 times a day. Because like I said, I'm making breakfasts, lunches and dinners. I mean, they're going to be awful, aren't they? But let's see.
Where are they going to be awful?
I don't know.
Where's that come from?
Because I'm not very good with freezer food. So, and, I've got to then heat it up, in the air fryer or the microwave or something. I don't know.
You'd be all right. You'd be all right.
So we'll see how it all goes. It's all trial and error, I guess. But let's go. I'm excited to cook and have a day of cooking. I love it. So, yeah, that's me.
Yeah. So go grab yourself a cuppa.
Find a comfortable spot.
And we'll journey
through grief
together.
Thank you.
Bye.